Amazing they got the season in.
Another camera.
Okay,
All right,
let's hope the recording holds this time.
all right.
I
Well,
got
we
it
got it.
started. I got it
All right,
started.
let's welcome everybody in. Let's get moving. Get to the February. Let's get the last month's minutes if we can, so we can approve them,
Yep.
please.
I can do that.
Thank you.
I can do that.
Thanks, Greg.
Let's see here. Everybody can see everybody, right?
I can see.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
everybody.
All right, good. Let's here's the minutes right here.
I got the iPhone guys in. Right, you see him? It's Kai.
Yeah.
It's Kai. Is that you?
No,
No.
that's another Kai.
Okay, I was gonna say, he's a dead ringer for our departed friend, isn't he?
Is he?
Well, look, if I told you that was
Yes.
Merritt,
That looks like Coco to me.
your eyes are bad. You better
My eyes are terrible, but it looks.
He looks like
Coco.
Merritt. He favors Merritt somewhat.
I'm still trying to figure out who's on the iPhone.
Well, I think he came in. I think it was Kai.
No, I still got one that says iPhone.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, let's get moving. You got all right. Everybody read the minutes.
Minutes are up.
All right. Can you scroll them a little bit so we can read them or extend them?
Maybe.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe.
All right. Everybody got a good look at them?
And then we get I got the other good stuff.
Yeah, but we'll get to that.
We'll get
Read
to that
these
later.
minutes. Someone want to make a motion that we approve?
I'll make a motion.
All right. Any seconds?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's go. All right. Next. The
Next.
treasurer's report.
I got that.
Greg sent out. Greg, did everybody see what
No.
Greg sent?
No, they did not.
Okay,
Yes.
I did, but I mean,
I did.
Yes,
Coco.
I got it.
Coco
okay.
and
So you did get it, Alan.
Yep. Mhm.
All right.
I didn't get it.
All right. Well, it's
All right,
coming
so-
up now. It's the three. Just quickly, we have two operating accounts. One takes in money only. So if someone hacks in it, they can only do it one way. The other one is what we then transfer it and then we send it out with another one. It's supposedly safer. I don't know. We'll see. And then we got the holding account we still have, which is the 100,000. So we still got backup for a calamity at this point. And it looks like we're going to make it. I think, Greg, you outlined we've got about, 40-something thousand, am I right, till the rest of the year, or is it 20?
we got about 57 and minus 24.
Yeah, 12. Okay, so 24, you think will finish it up?
That 24 is approximately, but it's pretty close.
Okay, we got the kids in there for the scholarships.
No, I do not have the scholarships in there.
Okay, how about what we're going to spend on the finals? I guess we've got ref fees.
That's in there.
Are
That's
they out
in there.
already? All right.
It's
Alan,
right
have you
there.
got everything you need as far as money for the referees for these things?
Yeah. I've been Greg. We've been talking.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
there.
as long as it's just, get to Greg. I don't need to be in the middle of it. Well, that's the situation we're in. So we actually have not, we'll still end up with a couple bucks at the end of the season, which we'll throw on our other account, or we'll play it forward. So we've survived another year somehow financially without going into the red. So that's great. I don't know, budget wise, we might be under, but I mean, the cash flow's still good. And, that's a good sign. That's what we need. I mean, that's the most important thing. All right, next. So that's any questions about that? And Greg, if you got questions, ask Greg, because he has all the information, not me. Secretary's report, so you guys got anything, the VPs, any, Alan, I know, do you want to go into that now? The playoffs, we might as well, huh?
Well, I guess we could. And I'm glad Oldsmar is online here. I was talking to Kai. We've been communicating, and Kai's been talking to Oldsmar Soccer Club. It looks like we're going to have the 15th and the 22nd as championship games.
All right, Greg, you got that? So
I'm
we
writing
all
it
know.
down right now.
Cool.
And the semifinals, as they're being generated, the games are starting to get played. We're getting teams ready for the finals.
Yeah, I see. It looks great.
Yeah, and
How
the
about
worst part,
referees? Are you going to be able to? I guess they're going to help, right?
so far, yeah, so far no hiccups on the semifinals. Once
Very good.
everything gets done, then I'll get with Greg and I'll get with James and all, and we can talk about the rest for the championship games.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, but other than that, everything's coming in.
And we've decided that we're gonna only do the seniors boys. Is that correct? Or no boys?
No boys.
What do we end up with?
No boys.
There's still a lot of missing scores out there to determine who plays where and who plays who.
Well, I think that the girls thing we got down. I mean, let's not try and eat the whole frog in 1 year. If we get, Alan seems to have this fairly smoothed out. Next year, when we start, we'll tell them what our intention is and what age groups we intend to have a playoff in and kind of where we're going to do them. This one went great, but I agree that this is if we extend it further, we're liable to step on our what. So we'll just consider ourselves lucky. So the boys will come in. The winners of the leagues will pay whatever the entry is for what tournament they entered. Correct? Everybody agree to that at this point? Everybody acknowledge that, I should say.
We hadn't agreed to that. We hadn't agreed to that before.
Well, that's a standard practice we all have, so it's not even a matter of asking. We do it every year. If they if they're not in a championship, if they're not participating in a championship match or whatnot, then we have always, and I don't see why we wouldn't this year, we've always picked up their entry fees in the tournaments.
With the exception of the cost that's going to be for this championship series.
Well,
but none of the boys are going to incur that cost.
It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference.
Well, it makes a difference to us.
Well, we've already spent quite a bit.
That's all right.
Plus the referees coming up, we're not going to end up with money at the end of the year.
Yeah, but we're not going to short the boys because we've spent money doing the other one. I don't see unless you guys want to do it, but I don't see any reason to do that. We have a surfeit of cash on hand. We've always reimbursed their fees from 13 to
okay.
to
I'll have to
19.
look up the minutes though, because I thought we had said, and it's in the minutes, that there will be no refunds for any kind of tournament fees.
Well, here's a way we can get out of this in a way is how can you pay for somebody's tournament when they're not going to have all their games played? There's not going to be a clear-cut winner.
Well, when there is, Alan, it doesn't. We don't have to pay them until they're done.
Paul, there's no way the boys' side can get all these games in. There's no way.
There's a lot of games out there.
There's no way. It's a coach's own fault.
Yes.
To me, I would say by coaches not following up and rescheduling their games, I would you got an out of not paying the.
Well, let's go back and even further than that, Alan. We will, at the end of the year, Les and Juan will know what it is.
Right.
And we'll adjudicate. In other words, games that aren't played, they either are double forfeits or nothing, right? Or one forfeit of the other. But we'll close out all again. In other words, if the games aren't played, we'll have to make a decision on every one of those games. Right. And that will determine what points there are involved, and that will determine who wins the league and who doesn't. If guys aren't doing it, then they're forfeiting their games. They're not going to get any points. So I would do it that way, and we'll at the end we'll look at every single match if we've got to, where it matters, and decide. We had to do it didn't we do it last year? We had three people, three different teams, right? That hadn't played, they had played. We didn't know we had all of the, we had to find the information out. It was a girls team, Alan. And it was not, there weren't three of the games or four of the games were not. So we waited through it and there was
Right.
an eventual winner. Now, if there's a tie, I don't know whether, we can flip a coin or pay them half. I think we did in that case, didn't we, Greg? I think we paid two teams, we split it and gave them half of their entry fee because they tied.
Okay, whatever you guys feel like.
Well, no. It's up to the board.
Yeah,
I recommend that, but that's not,
Okay.
we'll do what you guys want to do.
What I'm saying is if people don't put enough into this league that they think it's important enough to get the games played, they should not get a reward for not playing their games.
If in fact that was the reason why they didn't, Greg, your assumption is that they're lazy and stupid and they didn't do. Someone may have broken a leg. Someone may have been in a car accident.
Well, Paul, a lot of these games are
game.
not played. A lot of these games are not played because people are in multiple leagues and they push USA to the back burner.
Then they forfeit the match, Les, right?
And they should forfeit the reward.
Well, we haven't even seen who's won yet, Greg. We're assuming right away we're gonna.
I understand that. Well, you put.
Let's see who wins the leagues first. We haven't even decided that. When we get that, we can make a decision about what we do. But we have always, and on our website, it's clear. We state that we will pay the winner of the one league their entry fees. We need to get that off of there if you're not going to do it.
Right.
I thought we did.
I don't know. I can't imagine.
I thought we did take that off.
We'll yeah, we need to look at that later on. I agree with Paul.
Let's get to the end, right?
Yeah, we'll get to the end.
Because we can figure it out. We're pretty smart between us all. We can look at every one of them. We did it last year. I mean, we're all pretty knowledgeable about what's going on. If, like Les says, the guys that just skip games, we'll see it. If they've won the league and skipped 4 games, then I'll agree. But let's get there first before we assume somebody hasn't or has done something.
What are the thoughts that we have about EDP next year?
Well, we made an agreement with them that we would recommend the 2 top teams to go to EDP. If we're going to break that agreement, we need to do that. Then we need to know that we agreed at the beginning of last year how it would. We have something, Juan. If you want to.
No, the question was not, are we gonna break the agreement? The question was, what are we gonna do with EDP? I mean, I'm just curious.
We have the agreement. I'll get Greg to send it to you, and that's what we went through. We had a formal agreement with them, which we all voted on, and we will follow the outline of that agreement unless there's something in there that we can't do, or we don't want to do. But we've agreed to something through the year, and we've formalized it. We've got it in writing, so we can just review it, Juan, and see what that is, right?
Well, I do think we just got to offer that to the top 2 teams and see, and kind of recommend that they do go to the EDP.
Well, that's what's in the agreement, Mike.
Yeah.
But we need to review. Where is that agreement, Greg? I think I have it somewhere.
I think you have it. I wasn't at that.
No, we should have it. We did it. We had a board meeting and we looked at it and we voted on it before the season started. Remember, we went through it and everybody says, "All right, well, let's try it." We knew it was experimental. Now that we're at the end of it, we'll review it, but I'll try and get it. Greg, I know we had it and we had it up on the board, so it's in somewhere. It's in one of the meetings. Got to be, right?
We'll find it somewhere.
Okay. I'll look for it too. I think I've got it.
Just a quick update. We've got 12 out of 89 teams complete 10 games so far.
In the senior boys.
In the senior boys.
Okay. That's pretty poor, isn't it?
Yeah, that's about 13, 12, 13, 14%.
I think
Let-
there's our answer right there. And we got, how many weeks you got left?
Should only be 3.
3 weeks to get in 89 games. There's no way. There's no way.
Les, what's the reason, or what is the common denominator here with them not playing their game? But
Well,
senior
a lot
stuff.
of teams reschedule for tournaments, and they reschedule because they're playing in other leagues.
Yeah, I can tell you with all my Hurricane, I played 2 games before high school season. And I only have 3 games left. All my games are scheduled. I only have 3 games left. There's no excuse they don't have these
No.
games played.
There's no excuse.
I canceled a lot of games because of the damn hurricane. So there's no
Because
reason.
there are teams up to today trying to reschedule games. That's going to be played this week, and they're trying to move it to a week or 2 later.
Yeah, I do think that multiple league thing has, and look at, it's affected other leagues as well. As it's affected Sunshine League, it's affected multiple leagues. CDL has affected many leagues, and we have to find I don't know what the solution is, but we have to stop this
Madness.
as well as madness. It's everything. It's disrespect to the game. It's disrespect to the leagues. It's disrespect to teammates. It's disrespect to to teams that you're playing against. Because we get into a situation whereby it's me and mine, and whatever satisfies me, I don't care about anything else.
But I must also say that FYSA schedule with Commissioner's Cup and President's Cup also created some of those problems.
They did switch them a little bit, did they not?
Yeah, but they had the initial dates out there a year in advance, so that wasn't too bad. But
No, but one of them was a Commissioner's Cup. They switched. They had to move them, right?
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Khan.
I just given my 2 cents here. I appreciate that the USA League obviously tries to accommodate everybody and everything, but I do think that we need to have higher standards, higher fees for rescheduling, and that's it. Or else, if you're too loosey goosey with your rules and don't have high enough fees, you're the one that you're going to reschedule. The other leagues that are tougher with rescheduling, they don't have that problem.
you know why?
Yeah.
You know why? Because they have a $1,500 forfeit or reschedule fee. That's why.
Well, I'm just saying you got to toughen up. It is what it is, or else you're going to be the one that's going to be. It's my opinion. Because we're at a point
charging is one thing, collecting is another.
Well,
you put them in.
That's where the rubber meets the road, buddy.
Well, and then just have them put up a bond.
You put them in bad standing.
It is. I mean, the problem is that you there's so much competition, so much stuff out there. You have to do it nowadays, or else you're just going to be taken advantage of, and it's not fair, and it's going to devalue the USA League, and you're going to have less people playing in it because there's too many issues, not enough, games aren't being played. So, and the ones that have an issue with it, they shouldn't be playing in the league. The ones that can't get their stuff right, don't have them playing it. Simple as that.
Les, let me ask you something. How many of those matches are mutually not played? In other words, both guys.
Well, here's one of the other issue, and I'm not sure. Some of those matches could have been played, but that 2-week GOT Sports shutdown, we don't know what scores are out there that is not yet reported.
That's what I was just going to say. Do you know that they're unplayed, or are we just missing the score?
Some are unplayed and some have been played, but the scores are missing. So, and we don't know which ones were played and which ones were not played. And only the referee could tell us which ones were played. Or if we tell the teams, if they have score that is not reported, to send them in, but they're not. Most teams are not very good at that. They can't even find the piece of the pink or the yellow slip they get at the game, because some people don't even take them to the game.
Another problem is, like, I was in Hernando this weekend, and the referee is trying to give me the game card to file, and I said, "That's your job." He goes, "I got told I don't do it. I haven't done one this year yet." I'm like, "Oh, that's a problem." I was like, you have to put the game card. I said, all you do is scan the code, the bar right there. Just scan that thing. You're good to go. And he was like, nope, I got told not to do it. I'm like, I don't know who's telling you not to do it. But
Yeah, so some of these scores are not reported because they're not filling out the game report.
And the
And I
referees
went
don't
to
report them
I
either.
went to
Les.
West
I mean, it's
Florida
a
Flames
rule.
last week with my U18 team, and they didn't have a game report for the referee.
I've had the same problem. U19
Okay.
boys, there's a lot of them not in. It's
Well,
ridiculous.
the 19 boys, Charlie, are always the worst.
It's
If you do this
ridiculous.
by percentage, have always been the worst offenders, both boys and girls in those leagues, because they just get to the end and they don't play. They can't get them back. I don't know, whatever reason.
Yeah.
But
But I
there
think
are
some of the
always
players, Paul,
10% of their matches are unplayed every year.
yeah, I think some of these games are played. They just don't have the referees are not putting in the score, and you can see.
No, well,
Yeah.
Look at the home
that's a
games.
problem.
It's the same clubs.
How are we gonna sort that out, though?
Well, I just looked at a game that I played 2 weeks ago, and the score is not sent in.
So
Yeah.
technically,
Look at
that's
the
only
whole-
your 89, right?
But Paul, if you look at okay, what's the home, right? The home team, if it's the same home team, well, that assigner needs to be told, hey, your referees are not doing it, and don't pay the assigner. If the referee don't do it,
That'd be good, but we don't pay them to start.
We do.
The club
We don't-
pays.
I'll spend some time this week going through the missing ones,
Mhm.
making sure that I don't have it in USA Game Reports, following up with the assigners. Let's see if we can get some of these filled out.
Yeah, we can improve it. We always have,
Yeah.
but the point is there is always the referees are an issue or a problem as far as reporting. And
Yes.
the clubs we now next year have decided we're gonna also ask the winning club to send it in, even if it's redundant. We might get one of them, but not getting any of them, we don't know what percentage. And frankly, we don't have the labor, the investigative labor, to run every one of them down. Every one of them is a different story, and we don't have the capacity to run all of them down. Sherry runs down hundreds, I would say, in a year, but it's still there are still hundreds left, and then I mean,
Well,
she's one person. Her and
But
Greg, I mean, two
Oh,
people.
if you make the like my area is Katie. If Katie wants to be paid by you guys for the centers that she's scheduling, okay?
No,
If
we don't pay them.
You don't pay the referee signer.
Oh, we pay the assigner. We pay the assigner.
That's what I'm talking about. So
The assigner doesn't get paid if we don't get a report.
And so at the do we tell them, hey, we don't have these home games of yours not in, you're not getting paid? Do we actually tell them?
Yeah,
that?
that's great. We don't pay the assigner. If we don't get a report, we don't pay the assigner because we don't know if it's been assigned or not. They don't get anything, Charlie. If there's no record of the game being played, they don't get any money for assigning it.
So now can I say, I don't know, if we send an assigner an email saying, hey, you have a lot of home games that are not assigned, you're not getting paid, like remind them and let them do the legwork.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When does the referee send in payment for assigning games?
He gets it at the field. Oh, well, no,
the referee assigner.
No, Greg pays them.
Monthly.
Greg, you explain that.
They get paid monthly by the number of games that they assign.
So from that, shouldn't we be able to tell what games is assigned or not assigned?
Well, we did in Got Soccer. In Got Sport, it's a whole hell of a lot different because they don't have the same reporting tools.
Mm.
That's the problem.
I have a question around this. Have we always had the referees put the scores in, or did it start 3 years ago, or has it always been that way?
As long as I've been in USA,
The
referees
referee has always put the score, and this is the worst it's been the last 2 years.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys
significantly worse.
that there is a problem that, for instance, is basically down almost to nothing in FCL2, FCL Def, and NPL. I can tell you that the scores get reported. And I can tell you that those are reported by the clubs, not by the referees.
And I agree with you, Juan. I think it should be up to the home coach to make sure that that game card, that game report gets signed by the referee with the score, and he should turn it in.
Well, I thought we had already agreed next year we're going to institute that, so we're both the referee and the home coach are both responsible for reporting the matches. We'll see if that's better, but I thought we already discussed that.
I'm
Good.
absolutely for making the clubs responsible for that. It's a lot easier for I would say that for Sherry or for any of us, it's a lot easier to chase down somebody in a club. And I will give you an example. A couple of times we have not had a game reported, and Sherry has sent an email. The email gets to me, the game gets reported and tracked immediately, and the report gets sent. I definitely believe that the referees are not a reliable source for what they need to do, but we clubs can be a reliable source for that.
Well, that's a theory, yes.
How about you hold the centers?
Because one, the people on this board right here that we're talking to, you can get every score from all of them because they're the clubs they represent and the people they're well organized and everything goes in. It's the rest of the people that are ragtag. Some guys are president and they're not anymore. It's when you're really trying to get 3,000 plus games reported, it's amazing how screwed up it is. Now we've been good. We've gotten, I don't know, the last couple of years, but up to this point, we're always within 1 or 2% of our games played, and that has always been a point of pride. But and we know right where the problems are. The 18s and 19 boys and girls always are around 10%. They never got played or not reported. That's always been, but now it's worse.
So following, for instance, Kai's recommendation, and here I'm being extreme. I would do it, but I know that it's extreme. But if you, instead of having the responsibility on the referees, tell the clubs, this is how we do. Either you report by the middle of the week of your game, if you're the local, or your game is forfeited.
I agree. Juan. I think that the team managers and the teams, as long as we, as the league, gives the directive as to what goes on, then we can, managers can put the scores in after the game, I mean, as long as they know that that's their responsibility. I just think that at the moment, with so many different leagues, so many different expectations, that everybody is using it as, well, I didn't know, kind of a deal. But if we expect them to do it and we tell them to do it, and that's the only way the score is going to be recognized, then they will do it.
Yes, well, we'll get them all to do it next year. Let's tell them we'll make something really draconian up and see what happens. Why not?
Yeah.
Though they don't play in the league anymore if they miss a game, right? In fact, the whole club doesn't play anymore.
And you know, on the game cards, you know, there's probably something you can edit and put right on a big bold home team reports, you know, or
yes,
something like that. Every time they look at it, they see it. You know, it's not like
the referees know, Charlie. They're getting paid
I agree.
money, not great money, and that's the point. Them and but why don't they report it? Who knows? I don't know why. It's so simple.
It's a cop out.
The process is so
literally
simple.
You scan that thing,
yes,
and easy.
But I would make both of them. I wouldn't rely on one or the other. I would insist both the center and the home team, both are responsible. The worst we can have is one of them, right? At least we'll get the probability of getting the score will increase.
Yeah, because the only other problem is you know, if you get a red card, maybe you're not going to file it because there's a red card on it. As you know, as a coach.
I think also the character of some of these leagues, Juan, is that they're smaller, tighter. They play they also, many of them schedule in the same place, which would be wonderful if we could do it. Nobody has ever been able to come up with. In fact, if anybody can, God, we'd love to see it, where we could have all our games in geographically in 5 spots or so. That really starts the process of getting the reports and knowing what's going on much better. That has never been, for the 30 years the league's been around, we've never been able to do that, or we've never done it. Now, when we had 750 teams, obviously it was different, but we're still sitting at 400, between 400 and 500. And if we could find central locations and play the games at that, now that's a lot of coordination.
That's not going to happen. Paul, that's not going to happen.
That's correct. That's not going to happen.
Well, Paul, I mean, probably not, but we could look into, now you have these complexes that are built, like Lakewood Ranch,
Absolutely.
the Hillsborough Sportsplex, and there's another one being built at Apollo Beach. And those are not for clubs. Those are just those are event rental facilities. Now we'd have to look into it, how much it is to rent. So you could pull this off nowadays somewhat.
But let me tell you, Mike and I have already looked into the Hillsborough one 2 years ago, right? And the cost of it, the parking, you got to pay for parking. Everybody going in's got to pay for parking, and the cost of it was staggering. When, in other words, you would have to raise the fees, which you could do, to $700 or $800 instead of $275. Then you could do it. But the cost of it, Kai, that they want, both Lakewood Ranch, but even the Hillsborough one, which you think, what are they up to?
Listen, I agree, because we deal with it at FYSA, right?
Okay,
and listen, the counties and cities, you can't come to them with, hey, we're doing this for the good of the kids and want to keep costs down. They're just laughing because they just want to make profit.
Well, we've discussed that. They're building these facilities as revenue generators.
To cash in on the youth sports boom that's happening. Yeah, of course.
And we unfortunately are part of that. So the cost of those games would go up dramatically for us. That one of the key things we've always done is play home and away. Everybody gets them, 7 home, 7 away. It's never been perfect because of the spread because of the geography. But if we could regionalize those games, man, it would simplify all of the problems.
Maybe we need to send out a survey to see how our members respond to a price increase if we would go to this kind of format.
But you could also perfectly decide that we go with a lot higher fees, that we put the responsibility on the clubs, and with a lot higher fees, the clubs will pay far more attention to that. Let's say that we keep playing. For us, it would not be interesting at all as Florida Hawks. For me, it's not interesting at all to have to send my teams to go and play in Apollo Beach or in Tampa Sportsplex when we have our own facility and we like to play at home. But if a team, let's say a U10 team, is paying let's say $750 for the season, they're gonna pay attention if they have responsibilities.
But Juan, here, let me ask you something. If that were true, right, then the fine we give them at $250 should certainly be, because that's a lot more than the fees, correct? Yet that doesn't seem to be
But what I see here, Paul, when I look at the groups is what Sherry is saying. I don't think that so many games are remaining unplayed. At least if I look at the
Agreed.
I think that there is a ton there that are not reported, and that's a difference.
Well, when we get to the nut cutting time, we always find that when we find teams that really are going to be in first place, for instance, right? All of a sudden, all those games get cleared up. We get the results, but it's the rest. It's the guys that are not at the top of the table who the games don't matter as far as where they're going to end up, that are less motivated to bother to come up with it. We have always, when we've had close teams, and you don't know, man, all of a sudden it's like the sun came out. We get every report. Oh no, we played that on this date, and here's the result. Well, oh really?
Or
So
Paul,
it's
we can do,
motivation to some degree, Juan, and I think that we're being it's being what's the word? We're not looking at reality when we realize that our fining process costs more money than any entry fee would ever be for them. Yet people,
the other
take
thing that we could
claims.
do, Paul, we can also be a little bit more creative here. And we know that both Greg and Sherry have more than things to do with what they do for the league. You could also find a person whose job is paid in whatever way we decide we can pay this person, like we are paying the guy, Carlos Flores for the website. We can pay this person to follow up with and chase those who don't report, just in order to get them to report. And we could, I mean,
a great idea. I agree with you. If you could structure something,
such a financial
if you could structure something and tell us what it is, I think I'd be more than willing to hire that person, or have us at least look at somebody. What do we pay him by the game? Maybe $10 a game.
Come up with an idea, or we know that he's got an independent contract agreement. He gets, let's say, $500 a month, and his job is to keep monthly every score reported.
Well, I mean, for me, you'd have to have a better, for me, if I were an employer, I'd have to have a better set of rewards. In other words, just paying him. If he doesn't get him, he still gets paid. Some way you've got to do it, to me, by the game, right?
Yes.
Every game that we get reported, right, that we tell you to go after, you get X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
But we got to know what that is and what our budget would be.
But see, on something like that,
Is it, the other question is it worth it?
yeah, well, not only that, but that's something that if, let's just say, for example, if I know who the center referee was, okay, on a game, I could call that center referee up and say, hey, because I have access to his information. Hey, I need to score on this game number. Do you happen to have it? Oh, yes, it was this. Okay, thank you very much, and move on.
Agreed. But Greg and Sherry run down hundreds of games like this, the same way we're talking about. If we knew all the information we had to know about it, but we don't, James, all the time. When we get 1,000, let me just give you an example. We get 1,000 requests for rescheduling, 1,000 a season, 1,000. Now we've got one person handling 1,000 requests for changes. Now, so we instituted a fine. This board made up okay, we're going to fine them if they don't do that, right? $50 to reschedule within 3 weeks, right? I don't know if we've collected a fine or even have a system in place to actually do that. Even though we have a bylaw that says it, we do not have a credible way to collect all that money. Even the way it comes in from God's Sport, if you understood that, you can't always identify when we get money put into our account. If they do not put something in God's Sport in a memo, you got no idea where that money came from. So what Greg and Sherry do every year is, when we're getting in a lot of money, they're running it down by the number. In other words, this looks like them. They got 7 teams. I got $475 or whatever it is. It's got to be their money. But it's even the system of collections is imprecise in the soccer community, and not just, so it's, before, I wouldn't give up. I mean, you try and do it. But the point is that to really get this solved, right? You have to put a lot more money into it than we do. And we put a lot of money into the clerical end already.
Well, true, but we just need to figure out something to where the clubs, we need a system to where they log into the website and log in and pay the fee right then. It goes directly to USA.
Yes. But again, when we're going to do this, James, we know we need a system. We know somebody's got to write up some cogent rules and how it's going to work so we can actually implement it. Our problem is and we're better than anybody. But FYSA has bylaws all the time. They have no way of enforcing them or help us. They just have what you call unfunded reasons where the league's got to do this, got to do that. If you're going to do it, you've got to put the who and why in it. I had a guy on my board, great guy, Mario Martinez. Mario always had great ideas, but I used to tell him, when you come to me with an idea, you have to have a personal pronoun and a verb. I will, I am, because the general idea is good, but we've got to have something specific that we draw up that we can actually enforce. And that's where I say, whatever you got, put it down, and I would do it. The better we can get it is, but what you're managing here is like nothing else. It's like nothing else that I've ever seen. You've got places in here where we don't have enforceable dictums. We've got something, we tell them you're going to get fined, right? We fine them, we can't collect it, right? If we can't collect it, we cut the club off. That's the 1, 2, and 3 of it. Now we get down, we've got a club with 40 something teams, and we're going to get rid of them because they didn't pay $275 fine. So you see what I'm saying? You've got to have something that makes sense. Otherwise, you don't have a league, because we'll get everybody out. It's the imprecision of it when one of us can figure out how to capture effort. To see you guys here, like Charlie's saying, you guys all do it. You guys are all that's why you're on the board. That's why you're here. It's the rest of the yo-yos out there that you've got to figure out a system that is going to, and for, like Mike says, it's got to matter. It's got to matter to them, and you got to make it painful, or you got to inspire them.
One of the problems that we have is that we don't, we haven't really, in my opinion, had these clubs realize the rewards they get playing in our league, right? I mean, even though we say, well, you win the league, we'll pay for your state cup or President's Cup, it's not an incentive for them. For some reason, even that's not an incentive for them. And they go play in Mickey Mouse leagues because of a different acronym. So
I agree.
I just think that we have to revamp how we position ourselves to these clubs, because
isn't that what we're doing?
To be quite honest, our league is no different than CDL's league, or to FCL2, or it's all a mishmash. They just happen to have a little bit something that people are buying into that we've got to do a better job at.
But Mike, you guys play in multiple leagues, right?
Correct.
You don't span 2 leagues because that's not what you would do. But there are reasons you play in those other leagues which you feel and I think are legitimate, right?
Well, look. I mean, we just find we are pleasing the parents.
Yes. So as long as those parents exist, we don't have a real clear way to communicate to those parents.
Unless we have a message.
And you and I have talked about this for 10 years. Yeah. The parents are impossible. They're like a rock. They're impenetrable when it comes to
I don't think. Yeah, but I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, but I don't think they know they're not getting the information about our league that is not being shadowed by other leagues. And I think that's the biggest cause, is that they just don't know. You know, they've been influenced or conditioned to think that the USA League is just a league that you play in if you can't get into any of the other leagues.
Well,
And
yeah, I mean, agreed. But if we
because they
had a
don't-
solution to that, right, we would have a lot of things solved, Mike. I think the thing Carlos is doing, where we're at with him, is at least an attempt to stretch out. We've got all kinds of communication leave.
Yeah, but we're not getting to the parents, Paul. We're not getting to the parents.
Well, that's true. There's, you know,
I think that we've got to use our website.
no, Mike, we're not convincing the parents.
Yes, correct. And
we can get
but
information.
they're
to
not
them.
getting the message, though,
Yeah,
Paul. They're
yeah.
not getting the message. We have the ability to mail every person that plays in the USA League.
And we do, right?
And we need to tell them our mission statement, our purpose, our reason, the rewards, the Allen's playoff situation, and I guarantee you there'll be like maybe 1% of parents that play in the USA League that even knows what Allen is doing.
Yeah.
Right. But there's only another 3 or 4% that care.
Yeah, but that's no different than the people that are playing in the FCL, Paul. People are going to FCL not because they care. They just go into the FCL because they heard about it.
Well, who told them? Mike, you know what, Rocky? I mean, I thought that the conversation we all have with Rocky, he's absolutely right.
Our parents are not.
The coaches are giving the parents the
Okay.
information.
Hey, Paul, guys, I mean, Mike, look, Mike's got a point. Listen, bottom line is, in today's world in soccer, okay, it's all about creating your own narrative. It's about telling a story. It's about using social media. It's about branding. And if you don't do that, you lose out. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. It's part of the gig now.
Absolutely. Now, if we can get somebody to actually take these ideas and put them in a cogent
and
fashion,
use social media.
Well, we have social media.
Right? I know. Well, we need to continue to develop that
100%.
because that is what our opponent or our competition is doing. They're making it more.
Absolutely.
They're making the FCL or anything else. They make it look cool. You want to be part of it. They make it seem important. Well, we got to do the same thing. Hey,
Yeah, but I think Carlos, isn't that
yeah.
why we have Carlos on board? Now he's just kind of started, but isn't that the point of having a guy like Carlos, is to continually push information out? I get stuff weekly from our Facebook page all the time. It's got all kinds of stuff on it.
Yeah.
I feed him all the
but
information you
Paul,
give me. He's got all kinds of stuff on there. Now, if it's not getting read or not understood or not believed, what's doing that? Well, it's the other parents on the sideline and the coach.
Let me tell you, I was in Carlos's office a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, and we were going through the analytics, and Cape Coral spiked, like they spiked off the charts, and that was the same week that Kathy said, I am going to take send me the Facebook, the links, and I'm going to make sure that all my players like the link, right? And we have to, with 400 teams, that's 4,000 people. We need to get them to like whatever we want to send out to them. If they're not liking it, we've got nothing.
I agree, but Mike, right here, we have 1, 2, 3, probably 5 people that run their leagues, right? And so have we gotten likes? No. I mean, okay, so let's start with us. Every parent from FC Tampa, we've got you, Coco, Les runs the league, Juan runs the league. I mean, Charlie runs the league, besides Kathy. We got 5 or 6 of our own that would generate hundreds. But
But
again,
Paulie,
we've got to
all
do
it
it.
takes
We've
is
got to
Carlos
do it.
all it takes is Carlos to send an email to every registered USA player.
Okay. And
And tell them the story.
okay. I think it's a great idea. Great idea. Let's do it. But my point is, all the management problems we have go back to we've discussed this for all of us for 20 years now. But the difficulty in convincing a parent that they actually really need the kid to just like to play and to play the game instead of trying to get a resume because it's useless to them. But at the end of this thing, that is so lame as an idea compared to, wow, if your kid gets in this league, he'll be seen by all kinds of coaches. It's not true, but it's effective. Now, we could lie to them, I get it, but I mean, we haven't done that yet. But that's probably because everyone else is lying to them.
Well,
Most people are misrepresenting what playing in any league will actually do for the children. Correct? We all agree to that. Yeah. How does it work? How can we not? Well, we have. Look, we've got 400 something teams. I mean, it's not like we've failed, but the management part of it is where people don't work hard enough on the other end to give us the scores. That's all we're talking about, really.
Yeah. Well, I think we're way off track now because we were just trying to follow one situation that the clubs take control of it because we get that.
But we have done that, right? Next year, the home team and the ref are both going to be responsible equally, and one doesn't have to know that the other one's supposed to do it, so they won't do it because the other guy's going to do it. Both of them should have the responsibility on them to get us the scores. And that way we're not running down, like Sherry's going to run down 50 scores this week. And Greg, I mean, that's not enough, you know? And it's every year. It's not just this year. It's gotten worse. It has gotten worse. So it's a matter of getting these having the rules is good. Having people follow the rules would be really much better. And that's where we fail in our management thing. That's where we fail because we're not getting the efficacy of the effort, you know. And that's what we're trying to solve now. So we either put a disincentive by fining them, or we put a positive incentive by them buying into the league and deciding, hey, I better get my scores in because it's a great deal. You know? Now, how do we do that? Raise the rates, fine them.
It shouldn't be our responsibility to hire a coach that knows the rules of the game.
Okay, I'll agree to that. Now, where does that get us? Where does that not
well, that would get us is what I'm getting at is none of these, not none of them, a very good percentage do not even know the USYSA rules as to how many players are on the team.
I agree. So how do we rectify that?
We have to get to the DOC and the presidents of the club.
Okay.
Okay, we get an email to them. I will say this, though. The AGM this year, USA AGM, is imperative to be face-to-face with club presidents and DOCs.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely imperative. And make them aware that if they want their club to play in the league next year, they will show up.
And if they don't,
well, if they don't,
they don't play.
They don't play. We take under advisement.
We have got to then say either you come to the AGM or your club doesn't participate. But every time we do something like that, we have so many. We say, okay, then we only have 200 teams. Okay, no problem. We have to be ready to do that if that's what we're going to do. Because that's the upshot of it. That's what will happen.
Agreed. I agree. But you got to hope that they don't.
You have to get rid of all these other teams now. In doing that, you create more geographic problems. You have more play that is unruly because you've got teams that are good and bad. So we're left with the compliant people. Okay, I mean, for me, as a board member, all right, I wouldn't agree with that, but I'm perfectly willing to watch it happen.
Well, Paul, what we can do with that is next year with Les and Juan getting on board with this championship series, if you don't come to the meeting, you can play, but you're not eligible for the championship season.
Okay, that's anything.
Then we still have the team, but it's their choice. What we got to quit
Absolutely.
doing is babysitting these clubs and I agree with the thing, because what I did, I had so many on the girls' side on the December 25th games. I went in manually and I emailed both coaches of those games. I said, you got 12 days to reschedule your game, or we're taking it off the schedule, and you will not be eligible for the playoffs. How many games do I have on December 25th? 0. I gave an opportunity. You wouldn't believe how they scrambled around and got these things rescheduled.
No, I agreed. Anything that works, I'm 100% in favor of.
You got to force them a we little bit. The thing of it is, we got to give them a consequence. It's their choice. If they don't do it, the game's off the schedule.
So we either find them, we eliminate them, or somehow we convince them that they need to do that.
Yeah.
And guys, and like with what Greg was saying, a mandatory meeting for the AGM.
So we've solved our problem.
Right, but listen, we're in the middle of March, okay? We should have that date set at least 2 months in advance, so there's no excuse where people can't say, well, I didn't know until the last 20 days when the meeting was. You got 2 months of scheduled time to be there.
Right.
Okay.
Because sometimes we wait till the last 30 days to schedule the meeting, unfortunately, but we need to not do that.
Okay.
We'll have a mandatory meeting, give them at least 2 months to work out to be there. And I think that's a good idea. We should do that.
Perfect. So right now we got to schedule it tonight probably, or at least within the next month.
March.
Good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where is it going to be and when's it going to be? Let's set it right now. Let's do it.
As long as we get the date, the location can work on that later.
Well, you got 2 months, right? It's now the end of March, so we got to have it before May, right, Greg? I mean, we're scheduled.
You can have it. I'm thinking, does anybody know off the top of their head what the state and President's Cup final weekends are?
No idea.
Does anybody know that?
Let me look it up. I'm on the internet. Let me see if I can find out for you real quick.
I got it here somewhere.
Les, you're slow.
It's in my my picture right here.
I can't hear you. Yes.
Let's see. State Cup.
I got a schedule right here.
I think it's.
So why don't we do a Memorial Day this year?
State Cup finals are May 21st and 22nd, or May 20th and 21st.
President's Cup is April 22nd and 23rd.
All right. So are we saying that we can't do it on the weekend that they're having the finals, right? No.
Right, but we can do it the first weekend in May.
But that's not 2 months.
When is the
April and May.
AGM?
2 months. The first date we got 2 months is Memorial Day. You want to do it on
Why don't we
Memorial
do it why don't we do it the first week of June?
Well, we never have. We could.
All right.
When are tryouts?
First week of May.
First week of May.
Okay.
When is the Region C AGM? Does anybody know?
Yeah, it's August 6th, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Oh,
That's
Region,
the AGM. Yeah.
Region C? Who knows?
Yeah, Region C. He hasn't said it yet, James.
Yeah, but I think Kai, if Kai is still on, I think that the regions are having the AGMs at the same time as the.
That's right. They're not doing separate ones.
Very good. Good idea, actually.
Good. Good. Okay, June 3rd, Saturday, June 3rd.
Where are we going to do it? How many people have we got coming to it? Let's start there.
How many should we have coming to it? Or
let's say we have to have a place big enough to accommodate.
We should get up to 50.
So we go back to our place in,
Yeah. Where we have the
uh,
coaches. where we have
Riverview?
the- Yeah,
Yeah,
where we
the
have the
place
coaches
there,
meeting.
Riverview, Brandon, wherever.
Yes.
All right. So we booked that place now.
Yep,
Okay. Cool.
June 3rd.
And we've got to get some strategy. In other words, if they don't come, they don't play in a championship series. Correct?
Yes.
Right. Or have somebody represent the team.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you know,
What?
now when we had the coaches meeting, we would get
Yeah, you got a lot.
we would get a reasonable amount of people. Some people would miss, but only a few. However, you know,
I think
again,
Greg's gonna do that too in person.
I
Coaches
mean,
thing.
the pandemic stopped that cold. So you want to go back to that?
I think, you know, the coaches, like, to me, the relationship I got with you guys,
It's a lot of money and a lot of effort, Charlie, because we got to get 5 guys, 6 guys there.
makes them accountable. I mean,
No, I'm saying us.
Oh, we can get the people there.
I mean,
Yes.
there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than you're on a coaches meeting, Zoom, as a coach on a boat, and he's fishing and caring about more of the boat than actually what's going on.
No, I get it.
It's garbage, you know.
We out of 450 coaches, Charlie, we got all kinds of reasons why people shouldn't be doing it from an organizational standpoint, not
Right.
from a coaching or kids
I know what you're talking
standpoint or interest in the game. The organizational part they just don't care about, and that's not part of why they're a coach.
I think relationship wise, I mean, I know with me, with the coaches that I play against, we had a better relationship with them.
Yes.
Top numbers at that point. I was able to, you know, get to know you, Paul, and Greg, and I mean, by going to those meetings. Zoom is so
Right.
impersonal.
It is, but it's
One day. It's only one day.
We haven't lost any people because of it, Charlie, as we know. Now the pandemic, in other words, we didn't have a choice the first 2 years.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
But now we can go back to it. But you guys can decide that. It's not going to be me there. I mean, at the point of the decision making. But it's it's more effective having it in person.
I 100% agree.
It's also more difficult to get people there.
Thank you.
It's a trade-off.
But if they don't show up, it's their loss.
Well, that's what we've been doing to them. But I end up calling the next day saying, an act of God. Somebody, took my car and I couldn't get, Charlie, I tell you, now most of the guys that come there, we've had very good luck when we've been talking ourselves and everybody is there.
Mm-hmm.
Usually 95% of the time you can get the coaches to finally mix and match and say, okay. Zoom, not so much.
Right.
Zoom.
And we're calling on club presidents and DOCs to attend. We're not asking coaches to attend this.
Well,
we're asking the decision makers.
Just remember, Greg, the other part of that is we don't know who they all are.
Well,
I would like to see.
I'll make sure to go in and find. I'll make sure to go in and find.
Okay. That's
coaches cannot make decisions for a club.
Yes, that's where we start. Who's the president? Who is the head coach, if there is one? What are their addresses, and are they good addresses and good phone numbers and good emails? And are the people that we're calling responsible? First 3 questions, right?
I believe FYSA is now on their website. I don't know who everybody has access to it or not, but where they have all the president's information.
Well, hey, Charlie, it's out there, but what I've been finding is they're pulling that information from Got Sport, and it's either ages old or it's blank.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of calling a coach in the organization to find out who the heck the president is, and then I'll follow up and get their name, number, and birth date.
But if we have the club affiliation form filled out, we would have that information, and we send it out in April.
Yep.
We should, yes.
In general, I think we do, Sherry. And I don't mean any of this is to cast aspersions on you and Greg. We're better run. This league is better run, I think, for the amount of teams we have and the way we proceed. It's impossible to do it a lot better without more people getting involved and actually doing work. But we've got, I mean, Les has got a club. Coco's got a club. Charlie's got a club. Alan has been, so all of us, when you start saying who's gonna start making 27 calls, because you call them back, you never get anybody the first time. In fact, it's the average on telemarketing is 3 times. You're going to get 80% of them. So when we go to do this, there got to be names next to jobs. And of course, we're volunteers, so you really can't force anybody to do that, you know. And that's where, again, we've got to be careful not to get more ideas than we have soldiers. Because then the ideas just go out the window because you really can't do it all. That's the essence of the problem with these volunteer organizations. And we're better. We get better attendance. We get better. Our board is so far superior to any board around, including FYSA. We have much better people on our board, right across the board than FYSA could hope to. And we still have these issues. And that's where hopefully the board with new board members or changing the management a little bit, which I'm all for, we'll get some new ideas. Alan, you know, just so everybody knows, I'm going to step aside this year. And I asked Alan, I think there are 4 or 5 guys that could do this very easily. Alan, I think right now has the most. We get every time I turn around, there's a guy has a guy that could run it. Les could run it. Juan could run it. Mike could run it. But all of them, they've been around a long time. They all know what they're doing. Coca could run it. They all run clubs. They all have their own clubs to run. So it becomes burdensome. Alan. Right now seems to have the time, and he's certainly well organized enough. I mean, what he's done with the girls this year has been fantastic. I talked to Alan, so everybody knows that there's nothing behind it. I've talked to Alan, and he's agreed to do it. When he comes aboard, he'll have new ideas or better ideas than I do, and he'll stimulate something. But it's I don't mean to be negative about everything. I see this. I mean, it's been 20 years for me doing this, 18, whatever it is. And it's frustrating to me, but I see where the problems are. It's solving them that I find so, it's really solving them. We're still doing good. I mean, we're moving ahead. You know, people are very complimentary with the league. But look at this year. I mean, we're falling backwards as far as our reporting, and that shouldn't happen to us at this point, but it does. And we all know why, because people are the referees don't know. So you know, it's difficult, but we got to stay after these issues and concentrate on them and put people's names on them. And we won't solve them, but we'll get better at it, you know. No, that's the end of that, right? So, you know, we beat that to death. All right.
Check your notes.
All right, we good? Where are we at on the we're done this section, right? Hold on.
Check your meeting chat.
Okay, who's on there?
Everybody.
Okay, well, unless they got a solution, I don't right. Yeah. And if the solution doesn't have a pronoun and a verb, it's useless. Now the guys, in other words, the guys that are doing this, it's like Charlie. Charlie, we know will do it. The reason Charlie's on the board is because for years, for a few years at least, we know he's reliable. We know what we're going to get out of it. That's why he's on the board. The problem is that there aren't enough Charlies and Les's and Juans and Allens around, you know, and Mike's and, you know, Coco's. Yeah. Well, you know, answer them, Greg. You know, I don't know where. Let's keep moving on this one. We'll be here all night, you know.
All right.
Hopefully Alan can run it tighter too, so we're not 2 hours doing this. I never got good at it. I'm going to tell you that. I never really got it down. It's not my personality to do this well. So anyway, keep moving on this. What do you got left? I don't have the notes. I'm in another place and I can't print them.
Well, the categories are right there in a minute.
All right, so old business, what do you got? All right, it's all the stuff is submit proof of suspension, serve. Yes, always. Review the game scheduling rules. Again, we just, I think we talked about it and realized what we got to do. Use the game requests and got sport. Same thing we're talking about. They're not doing it. Not everybody's doing it. Let me put it that way. This is just a reiteration of what you should be doing.
Right. That's just standard.
Yes. How about the grant applications? We got. I saw on our website. I saw Carlos had a pretty good thing. I tried to add to it on our Facebook page. Have we gotten that out to everybody we can, as far as what it is and how it works?
I'll be honest, I've lost track of it. I guess I probably should send a blast out to everyone just to remind them.
Yeah, and what it is, it's a service. I mean, the biggest thing is to tell them it's a service.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay, I'll send something out this week.
Yeah, but it is on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I know he was getting it out, so I kind of just didn't even give it a lot of
I
thought.
think it's on the website too, but that's still,
Yeah.
you know, it's like you got to do it 10 times to get anything.
Yeah, I'll send a couple email blasts.
All right. That's it for the regular meeting. Am I correct? And we can go into the.
Paulie, just on that, on those scholarships.
Yes.
You know, because so many players, and the you know, Alan and I have seen it, have not committed to the league and they haven't played games. We need to take that into consideration, because people are going to come and ask for their money, but they didn't give service to the league. You know what I mean?
You know, Greg's still done a good job in the past, I got to say, as far as checking you can check each individual kid as far as what league they've been registered to. Now, you can't blame them for not showing up at games if the coach doesn't do it. But Greg always runs down the kids, and we make sure we eliminate the kids that haven't been. And if they've been in the league 8 years, they move up in a little bit, and if they haven't, if it's been 1 year, they move down. But we've been doing that, I think, Mike, as far as checking to see what league they've been in, at least for the past few years. I think we got cut off.
Paulie, you are saying that the coaches, this is not at that age level, at 17, 18, 19, that's not the coach. The coach wants to play. At that level, these kids are saying we're not available. I am available. I mean, I'm seeing it at my club, right? These are just kids saying I'm not playing. After high school, we're just not interested in playing anymore.
Right.
You know, and that's a big factor. And I'm talking about Sunshine League. I'm talking about playing in the Sunshine League, which is a top league, and they are saying, we just don't want to play.
I agree. But how do we, Mike, do we send out all of that things? If you see someone on that list, Mike, in your club that you know doesn't deserve it, hopefully you'll step forward. But otherwise, you don't. I mean, we just go with. Of
course. Yeah. I mean, you know, people that failed to respect the club and the coach.
Yes. But I think we've done okay there. The thing is, we're getting a lot. I mean, we get now 12 applications where we used to get 50.
But again, I will tell you that unless this is going directly to the players themselves, they're not getting it from the coaches.
We can't get the coach to fill out a game card.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Can we identify all of the every senior in high school?
I can send it to the players. I can do that.
What would you do? Just stay with the 18s and 19s in, right, Sharon?
Yeah, that's what I generally do.
Okay, yeah, all right, good.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, I think that's I think it's great. And hopefully we got kids, you know, that have been referees or coached young, you know, we get a few of them, but I mean, it's really.
It's getting tight.
I'll tell you, Alan. It is. There are still some kids out there. I know Les had a good one. We had a decent one. Coco had one that was 2 years ago that did, you know, he was actually down there in reality, and you feel good about them. So I think some of the kids we've had up for the awards have been good. Last year, James, you went you met the kids and looked at what they were doing, correct? Did I lose you, James?
I don't, I thought he's muted.
Well, then Les, were you there at the awards?
Yes, I was there.
You were.
Yes.
And those kids, I mean,
They were some awesome kids. Yes, agreed.
You love to see them get money,
Yes.
you know. So we'll do as well as we can. We can't do any better than the kids. Right?
Yep.
We'll try to, but I agree with Mike that we really need to vet it closely and make sure that someone isn't just getting a pile of money for nothing. All right. Someone close the meeting. Someone make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Let's move to the executive session. We've got a couple of things here. Let me open up the meeting. Approve the minutes.
Greg.
It's up there, Greg.
Yeah, it's up here. Let's see if I can find it. I never got rid of it.
Take a look at the minutes. Somebody make a motion to accept the minutes when you see them from last week,
Hold on.
last month.
I gotta find it. That's not good. Hold on. Come on.
Greg, you're as unorganized as Liverpool at the moment, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, tell me about it. Okay, that's the agenda. That's the agenda.
Well, when you get them up there, shoot them in front of us, and we'll approve them then.
It's up there. I kept everything up there. I never closed anything.
Well,
I don't know why.
See them, we'll vote on it. That's all.
That's the agenda.
Let's stop and do it. The first.
Here you go.
I don't see them.
Right there, right in front of you.
Okay, so that's okay. I saw a bunch of them. All right, please, everybody read them. That's from the last executive board meeting. Make sure you've approved them, and please make a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. Minutes approved. First item.
On that situation, have we collected money from those FC Tampa, Florida Premier, Tampa Bay United, all those Florida Premier?
The whatchamacallits are going out. They'll be out. Invoiced. They're going to be each of the clubs is going to be invoiced. Like Florida Premier will be invoiced $500 for those 2 games.
It'll be interesting to see their attitude.
Well, they don't pay it. They go in bad standing. They go in bad standing. None of their teams can compete in FYSA.
They won't do that, Greg. That's
yes, they will. I've already taken that up with the board.
Believe me when I tell you, we'll talk to Kai on the side. They'll never do that.
Hey, Greg.
We've done it once already.
Oh, good. Greg, they're not going to do it with a club that size. They're not going to do it with anybody. They're going to tell them they can't compete in FYSA. And that is silly to even think about, even to mention it. It's ridiculous.
Then pay the fine.
You know FYSA is not going to do it, Greg. You know it. Why bother thinking they're going to do it? They're not.
Hey,
well,
Greg.
we got to have a situation. CDL kicked them out of their league.
Right. So they're above the law? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm
saying FYSA will not enforce that they can't play in FYSA because they owe us.
No, they cannot. No, they cannot play in. Well, you have to make the decision whether they want to play in the USA League.
No, but that's a whole nother thing, Mike. What Greg's saying is we can put them in bad standing. FYSA will put them in bad standing, and they won't be able to play in FYSA. Period, because they're in bad standing
until they pay the fine.
And I say that's absolutely absurd to think about.
All right, well, let's carry on. We'll see. We'll visit that later.
That's silly to even think about it.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
On 6/35, I saw that coach a month ago. I sent him another reminder about rescheduling a game. I asked him to send me dates. That's over a month ago, and he hasn't responded. So I think we should vote to make that a forfeit.
Okay.
Is that the
and,
first one on the
and the
agenda?
fines still stand. Because
Is that the first one
I
on the
gave him an
agenda?
offer to reschedule a game that should have been a forfeit to begin with if he pays the fine, and he hasn't paid the fine yet. And he still
6:35, Paul.
haven't make an
What
effort
age-
to
I gotta
reschedule
find
the
them
game.
because I don't.
What age group is that?
U19.
I thought the first one was Oldsmar, the Oldsmar situation.
This is from last, they're trying to approve the minutes from last meeting yet.
Oh, okay, fine. We haven't approved them yet.
Nope.
I thought we did.
Yeah, we did.
We did approve them.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
But Les is pointing out something that's on the minutes, right, Les? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm
Yeah.
pointing out something because Greg and I have been going at these guys back and forth to
Okay.
reschedule this game and pay the fine, and they don't seem to care. So there's no need to keep pushing the issue if they don't care.
Agreed.
Forfeit.
Okay. I'll send the invoice, I'll send an email and an invoice.
The first one, the B, is protest and appeals for the new, open up the new one, right? Open up the new agenda.
All right.
Central Academy Oldsmar, to my knowledge, we have not yet gotten a formal protest from Oldsmar. They're going to, but we haven't gotten one.
Yeah,
Well,
I put
it's
it
two.
there because I wasn't sure. I had seen an email that they were going to, so that's why.
They asked somebody in an email, how do I do that?
Yeah,
And I sent them the procedures.
yeah.
And
So I
the
haven't seen
problem-
it, but by next
they don't-
month, we'll see it. You know.
if they don't have it in by this week, then it's a moot point. It's outside the boundaries of the time limit for a protest.
But
So
where do
you want?
knows, and we've been including everybody in on this.
I think Oldsmar's on the line.
That's what I said. I think all of them were. Everybody was in that email was
Yeah.
on the line.
Oh, Jacob,
Yeah, Oldsmar's on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob,
I'm here.
have you guys sent the protest in to us?
I have not. I
Okay.
literally just got back from vacation yesterday.
Okay.
So I was kind of reading some of that third hand on my phone.
Yeah.
But
And you're
I am the president of the club,
okay.
and I am
The guy that
also the
handles
team.
your league though was involved. I mean, he was there too. I think he was the one that asked how to do it.
Yeah, so Kai also is part of our club, but I'm also the team manager for the team
Oh, really?
that
Right.
has been dealing with Central Academy.
Yeah. God bless you.
God bless you.
So the fact that I even got a game in with them, because it was 15 reschedules, and they tried to reschedule on the Monday before the Saturday, and they fit us in between playing the Celtic in another league and using the same players that they used to play me, to play the Celtic.
Right. But let's get that protest in first before we put it in front of the board, because we got to get that going before we do that. But we know the situation. We've got it ad infinitum. I mean, we have a lot of information that has been emailed, I think. I mean, and we all understand, you know, I mean, we have a couple clubs that are just awful when it comes to the clerical end of this thing. And you know, my opinion is that could be one of them occasionally, that the fact that they show, I thought you guys had already, we got an email from you before the game ever took place and said they got 18 kids on it. And you know, we said, well, try and get in touch with them and get it pared down so you can have the match. Did you have that match? And this is another one?
Yes. So the week prior,
they
had 26 players listed on their match card.
We get it. I mean, we did the whole thing, as we know. So this is the second one now. Just get that into us and we'll run through it. Well, they're going to get, I mean, I can't imagine the board will not forfeit that match, right?
Yeah, but Paul, the other side of it is that we've got to have some standards for these Central Central Academy.
But then let's get rid of them, Mike, because you're not going to, in other words, you can tell them, this is Gerald. We tell Gerald,
Yes.
Gerald, come on, man, you can do it. You can do this. And
This is the third time. This is the third strike on him this year.
Well, and I do think that we've got to draw a line in the sand with this operation, because they are embarrassing the league, and they're embarrassing out the teams that are playing in this league.
And I mean, there's no reason for what's happened, but again, let's take that up as a separate issue.
All righty. Okay.
But I don't disagree. We have 3 or 4 clubs where we have reoccurring issues, and it's clerical, and we either have them play in the league or not. I mean, because it's a matter of them not knowing.
Let's go. Next one.
Okay, 27
So
matches still sitting on 12/25, need to be rescheduled. Les has already mentioned that. Well, Les, that's what you're talking about?
Which one?
Yeah, we have new business. 27 matches still sitting on 12/25, need to be rescheduled. That's part of what you were talking about, the 89.
Well, there are some that is not on 12/25, but they haven't been played. We just don't know which ones they are.
But we've done that subject. We just got to get to the end of the year. They either play them and we put them in, or we forfeit them, right?
Right.
What's this next one? Sherry, you really have this thing, right?
Yeah.
Florida Premier, Central Academy, but again,
This one, to my knowledge, was not played. Central Academy reached out like the day before the game, said they didn't have enough players due to spring break.
okay.
And I guess I'm just asking, I told Gerald that would likely become a forfeit, but that's why I added it to the agenda.
Does anybody see a reason why it wouldn't be?
No, it needs to be a forfeit.
Forfeit.
All right. How about all these Venice games? Les, do you know anything about that?
Well, those Venice games, the coach, and I'm sure she reached out to Sherry. She reached out to me and said that she can't get even enough players to come to practice plus games, so she's going to forfeit the rest of the season.
They're giving up the season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, I didn't know. I know sometimes you guys just do like a flat fee.
Yeah, I don't know. When somebody suggests something.
That's sad. That team had I think 20-something players last season. That's
Wow.
Really?
yeah, when Joe Sabino ran it. I think didn't they win the state?
Well,
But every year, Charlie,
I actually don't think it's the same team. Actually,
No.
This team was different than the one they had last year.
Okay.
So someone come up with a fine for Venice for the team to drop out, because they're gonna leave.
They only got 3 games left.
Well, they got 4 on this schedule right here, 4 forfeits.
3.
Three.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that's it? That's the rest of the season?
Yes.
Well, have they already had 7 or 8 games in? I mean, that's the first question. Do they get 7 in? They may not even have 7.
I think they did. I can tell you that in a minute. I got it right here.
All right. I'd be willing to side bet someone they didn't.
They actually, well, I think they got 6 games in before the forfeits.
Okay, so you got 4.
Well, they must have had 7 because, there must be an unreported score somewhere. But they have 9 games shown up there, and I know Sherry posted the forfeits on those 3 games, right, Sherry?
I think I did. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
So there's 1 game.
So we're sure
forfeit.
these 3 are just not unreported. They are forfeits, and
They're forfeits. Yes.
Yeah, she did the
All right.
process and everything. Mhm. But
So we fine up 500. I'll say 500 for the club for dropping out.
Here's 750.
Well, you got to collect it. Let's at least try and get something we can collect.
Well, how much is it normally to do it like a normal thing?
Charlie, we do it by feel, because
250.
if
250 a game.
If we do 250 a game, it's 750. I mean, we've never gone above 500.
You know, for me personally, I sympathize with her, and I would say 500 is good.
Yes, I do too.
Well, okay, so you're the VP, Les. So why don't we? I would take Les's.
I thought she did it in a very classy way, and you know, she didn't just wait for the games to come around and don't show up for them.
No,
and I thought that
one
was
of the things. Les, the shit happens games. You know, I mean,
Right.
it's terrible. but some guys are doing it all the time and don't seem to care that they're doing it. Other people, well, Coco, you remember you would have dropped a team too. It was painful. We paid the fine, but it wasn't like we intended to do, the club intended to do that. You know?
500.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think,
All right.
I think that's
Second.
good.
Yes,
Yeah, I
Next,
vote for it.
yeah, all in favor of 500?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
so board's in. All right,
Hey,
Northport.
well, before we move away from this one,
Yes, Liz.
James.
Yep.
The referee that was assigned to my game, which is the earliest game they should have played. I know there's an issue with Deegan about the referee getting paid. Whatever happened with that?
It didn't pay the referee. Deacon thinks every referee should get paid, but doesn't understand an act of God when systems go down and when a hurricane comes through. So
But
Yeah, I don't know what Deacon did about it, so.
Well, the game you was referring to was 638, which was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Sherry, was canceled like she forfeited the week before.
yes, correct.
And Deegan said he already assigned a referee, but I can't tell when Deegan assigned the referee because it doesn't show up in the system.
Mhm. But I mean, normally when it's a forfeit and they pay the fine, then we usually do reimburse the ref.
Correct.
well, we'll keep that in mind when we get the money.
Okay.
Yeah, I just to say, I give the refs a little wider thing than some people, though. I mean, to me,
Well, the referee
it's
had a
important. The guy
very
shows
good
up,
referee,
goes to
so.
play. The last thing we want to be doing is telling them, "Hey, sorry, man, it's, we don't know what's going on." If it's at all feasible, to me, the referee should get paid.
Well, if we get paid,
They're the
we can
last
pay the
guys
referee.
we need to be kicking them in the nuts. Pardon my expression.
If we get paid, they'll get paid.
Carrie.
You
Yes.
sure?
There's no
Everybody
score
sure
on
about that?
641, which is one of the forfeit games, okay?
Well, let's go through the refs.
Okay, I'll look at it.
Okay.
Someone make a motion that the refs don't get paid till we get paid. I'm not in favor of that, but I mean, you got a second on that motion?
I second. I second.
All in favor of that strategy?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, the only reference question to my knowledge is on 641 because of the time when it was forfeited.
Well, yeah, but
Other
I'm saying
games were
on
weeks
all
out-
these
weeks
forfeits, on all of them, I'm talking about where the ref is, where it's iffy. There's a motion here that we don't pay if we think the ref, should have known, but he showed up anyway. Do we pay them or not pay them?
no, we think they should have known. No, I mean, if it's over a week, I mean,
Well, this isn't, and let me preface it, Charlie. Deegan gives the guy a game, right?
okay.
He's got the game. He's not taking any other games. He's going to go to the game. He's willing to go to the game. He has accepted the game. All of a sudden, someone calls and says, "I can't play." On Tuesday of the week, it's supposed
That's what I'm
to.
saying. If it's in the week, okay, but if it's a week or more, there's no excuse. He can get another game.
Now you can get another game on Tuesday. You can get another game.
Probably, but he doesn't.
We have so
Maybe
many
he does
games.
too.
Wait, guys, here's the thing, okay? When as a signer, you sign a game 2 weeks out in advance, okay? Now I'm gonna use me for an example, okay? I also signed up to Davenport, which is GCF area, okay? I do my schedules at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance. If that GCF rules is that the game is canceled 40 to 36 hours in advance, referees do not get paid because they have enough time to find another game.
I agree.
There we go.
But
I agree.
on this, back to this one here, even if Deacon assigned this referee 2 weeks in advance, when he knew it was going to be canceled, he could have very easily told this referee, "Hey, that game got canceled. I'm going to assign you to a different game." But he didn't.
Okay, so let's bring it up again. If the referee does not, have we got a time period? What time period do we not pay the referee? Most certainly don't pay the referee. What's the time period? Or is it case by case?
No, but
I
just
was
case
trying
by case, Paul. Just case by case. I mean,
Yeah,
this
case
guy-
by case.
Okay, I'm good with that. So
But
in
we
this
have a-
case,
We do have a
This
48-hour rule in there.
well, we do. I agree. That's why I'm reiterating it's,
Yeah.
so we don't pay this guy, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, are we all agreed that that's okay, right?
Yes.
As a board.
Yeah,
Yes, I agree.
I agree. I mean,
All right, so we have a concurrence. Anything off the 48 hours, the ref doesn't get paid, we don't pay the center. And we
Yes.
certainly don't pay the lines. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's move on. Just so we're all clear and together
Right.
on this. All right, Northport versus First Hernando.
Northport showed up. First Hernando had reached out, I think, and tried to reschedule last minute. Northport showed up. They're asking for a forfeit.
Yes, and they get it because it's
Yeah.
by our rules, that's
I think First Hernando still wanted to reschedule, but I don't think the other team was willing.
No, listen.
Not
to
that
travel
last
from-
minute.
to
Northport
travel-
doesn't agree, they can't reschedule, that's all.
To
there is.
travel from
Right.
Northport to First Hernando.
yeah, that's 2 hours. I just did
Yes,
it.
come on, it's a forfeit
Agree.
and gas money.
Who was the home team in this? Who was the home team?
First Hernando, it looks like.
Well, is that always because it's listed second, Alan?
No,
That could
the-
just be
the
the way
boys-
I wrote it. I'm not sure on that. I'd have to look.
Well, doesn't that matter for this? First Hernando asked for a reschedule. Northport said no. First Hernando said, I'm not showing up. Correct? Is that?
Yeah, they didn't show up, but the
Yeah,
other
so-
team
So they
did.
got a forfeit, right? I mean,
It's a
Yeah.
forfeit, yes.
It's a
yes.
forfeit. I think it is, yeah.
The
Got it.
forfeit is going to First Hernando?
No,
No.
Northport.
No, Northport.
Okay.
Oh, I thought First Hernando didn't show up. Northport didn't show up.
No.
No, Northport gets the forfeit.
Okay.
Yes.
They get the win. They get the win. Northport.
Yes, they get the win.
First Hernando, I said First Hernando.
Gets the forfeit hung on them, right?
First Hernando gets the fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, final. All right. Pinellas versus St. Pete. Geez, these are two guys are pretty close together. Well, what's there with 394?
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, I gotta look. I don't
That's all
remember.
right. It's all right.
What was it? 394
Yeah.
is okay. I gotta find it. Not seeing this one. What's the next one? And let me look for
That's
this
it.
one.
That's the last one of the
Oh,
game.
that's the
The
last.
last one.
And then
Okay.
just a matter of
Okay, when-
reviewing the website and social media.
Hey, Paul, I got one that didn't make the agenda. It's game 595.
Here we
I
go.
talked to you and Sherry about it. It's Central Academy versus Charlotte Premier U15. During middle of the night, Central Academy emailed Charlotte Premier saying, we don't want to do the game, let's reschedule. By the time the team manager saw it, we had parents already driving up there. And they kind of aggravated about it and they don't want to reschedule it. My U15 team does not want to reschedule it.
Well, it's
No.
up to you guys to agree to reschedule it, correct?
Yeah, we don't want that.
Oh,
They said
so you
they-
don't want
they're-
to, it's
they're-
already
and
played.
we can't-
So it's a
can't play the
forfeit,
game.
right?
That's
So
what we were
forfeit and a fine for Academy.
That's what we were like.
We're
okay.
gonna
That's
own
game.
the academy club.
Yeah, that's saying that again, Central Academy,
They're gonna own so much.
Charlie,
But
what's
Paul-
the
Sell
game?
it to us. It's
Game
What's-
595.
starting to sound like Silicon Valley Bank here.
Hold on. What's the game number, Charlie?
595.
Okay.
Central
Who's-
Academy versus
which-
Charlotte Premier.
Central Academy?
Yep, and it was their home game.
Boys
they
or
didn't-
girls?
Well,
Boys,
certainly they're gonna get another fine when Osmar files this protest, right? If they got it in time.
and Charlotte
Yeah, but-
Premier, Charlotte Premier
but-
gets the.
But Paulie, I mean, the fact that Charlotte is getting an email during the middle of the night
I
that they
know.
can't play the next
Well,
day.
it's,
Come
yeah,
on.
that's what I'm saying. But it's simple,
on.
Mike. They
Yeah.
don't, as long as Charlotte does not agree to reschedule it, then the game's on.
Yeah,
our
but I mean, how many games now has Central Academy affected this league and our members?
Okay,
Right
so
here,
at the end of the
here's
season,
4 right here.
we have
4.
the right not to, by
Right.
our bylaws now, we can not schedule people for cause, Mike. In other words, whatever we decide, if this is not a good idea for, so that's the next step next year.
Well, let's draw the line in. Let's draw a line in the sand with them and just say, listen, this is unacceptable stuff. We did it with Mama.
Yep.
Yes. And it worked.
Yep.
You know, just it's got to be the Dutch uncle, right? This is the way it works, you know.
Yeah.
And I like Gerald. I mean, I really
Yes.
do.
Yes.
It creates chaos when you don't pay attention to details. Some details, anyway, right?
Well, I think a big is that he has X amount of players playing in X amount of teams, and he has to move players from one team to another team, and we cannot get it done. So,
well, but he's got to stop doing that, or
Yes.
he's got to make sure
Correct.
the players are on our league's teams.
Correct.
But is there anybody else running that schedule or something? Because you're looking at it's a U12B team, U12 boys, 2013 girls, and U15 boys. I mean, he can't move any of the players around to those teams. I mean, somebody else needs to do the scheduling than him, I guess.
Well,
That's 3
like the Osmore thing, if you look at the roster, in this case, made no mistakes with the roster. The roster had not too many club players. They were all rostered to that team, which probably their I would think their registrar somehow got transferred them over. But he had too many on the roster. Not deadly, but it's the rules. I mean, the rules are rules. I can't see
He didn't need
taking a game away from an 11-year-old because the roster's too much.
Yeah.
That's our rules. We got to enforce them.
He brought in 5 club pass players when he didn't need to. He already had 12 on the roster.
Yes, but again, that's not the point. That's not illegal. That's nothing wrong with that in our rules.
Yeah, there is.
He had too many
He's only
players.
allowed to have 14.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. He had
And
too
he had
many
17.
players on the roster.
And he had
And
17.
Had he just simply crossed some of them off, Greg, and that's a sloppy method. That's not the right way to do it either.
No,
correct?
it isn't. But
Even that's not acceptable, really.
Even if you would have told him, okay, you got to put a line through these guys can't play. They were still on the bench and he still played them. After he was told he could only have
Well, you know,
14, he
Jacob
still
and
played
these
it.
guys, a couple weeks before that, they had the same thing. They told him, and he had apparently rectified it so they could play. This is the second time that
Well,
we had the same issue and didn't figure it out.
Hey,
Again,
real quick, guys. Where do I send my formal protest and my check? to?
It's in Greg. Send them
it's in the notes. It's in the
an
meeting
appeal.
chat.
No.
It's in the meeting chat.
It didn't refresh.
It went.
But it's Greg. Didn't you
It's
send
on the
them
website. Just
a,
send it to the USA address that's on the website.
Okay.
To the US and make it out to US Soccer League or USA Soccer League.
We should have that. That should be available to you, Jacob, on the website, so you can. If you don't get it now, you go back and just take a look, and it's there. And I think Greg sent it out to somebody.
Yep. I'll mail it tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry it happened to you. Really,
It's fine.
Pain in the ass.
Hey,
Let's go. Website, social media.
Quick.
I found 394.
okay.
So real quick, this one was Pinellas and St. Pete Raiders U16 boys. Apparently St. Pete Raiders double booked themselves, and there was conversation in the chat back and forth about trying to reschedule this game, but it never got finalized. So Pinellas showed up for the game and it was marked as a no-show, but St. Pete is saying, hey, we tried to tell you we were double booked and yada yada. So I don't know what to do with this one.
Forfeit. Fine.
Forfeit.
He should have picked our game instead of the other one that he double booked.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Another
Forfeit
Waimama
by-
situation.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Okay.
what Waimama did.
That's exactly the point we're making for the first hour is they're choosing some people choose
Yep.
other leagues because
Yep.
we're not hard enough on them.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever.
that was a $250 choice.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Now,
All
we
right,
get-
250 to St. Pete, 250 to St. Pete.
Yes.
Yes.
And a
Okay.
forfeit.
Hey, Sherry,
Yes.
I had to step away. What was the adjudication on 842 with Florida Premier and Central Academy?
Forfeit for Central Academy.
Okay, thank you.
They owe the fine.
Okay.
Man, he's gonna have a big bill.
Yeah, yeah. No side bets there, huh? All right, website, social media. Greg, I don't know if Carlos is on.
Yeah, he is.
How are you guys?
Carlos,
Yeah, he's
if
here.
you can make it brief, Carlos, it'll be good for all of us. So I pick up most
Yeah,
of the meeting.
yeah, we keep moving up. We had our best month was last month. So we went from, if we want to start from December, fans acquired, we went from 407 in November, 410 in December, 416 in January, and now we're up to 420. So that's the people that are reading whatever we post. We still getting more, way more in Facebook than Instagram. So I'm gonna guess that's because most of the people looking at what we post are parents. Let me see what else we got that's interesting. Post engagement, we have a lot of clicks. Then reactions, they're not sharing our stuff that much or commenting. So the top thing we're getting is clicks, followed by reactions. And then let me see, in Instagram, we did way better than January, but not as good as in October, which was the month that we had the most impressions, which was 112 in October. So, but our second best month was February, so we're good. The traffic on the website is really good. Most coming from Tampa, then St. Pete, Lakeland, Clearwater, Wesley Chapel, East Lake, Lando Lake, Palm Harbor, and Plant City. But most of the traffic coming from Tampa and St. Pete by far. By far, 44% from the Tampa area, 34% from St. Pete area. Then the remaining 25% is divided between Lakeland, Clearwater, Wesley Chapel, East Lake, Palm Harbor, and Plant City. So all the security plugins due to the God Soccer issue, God Sport issue. So we had to be very careful. But we're doing really well on the traffic of the website also. Like no complaints from anybody. I've been getting a couple of emails with requests. And then I got Coco's info on his picture. It's up already. And I'm basically everything that Sherry and Greg request, we try to do it the same day or in 24 hours. So we've been good with that. Other than that, we need to push the scholarships that we want to give out.
Yeah, but yeah, you did post them on Facebook. Didn't I see that? I put a comment.
It's on Facebook, but I'm not sure if we've gotten any responses.
No, Sherry's going to follow up with an email, but your probably website be good too. But I think it's on. I believe it's on there.
Yeah, it's all over. If Sherry, if you want this week, you can call me and we can do a MailChimp blast. I have the MailChimp campaign ready. So I think I would have to log in and then download all the coaches' emails.
I mean, I can do it through I could do it through Got Sport as well.
Okay, so call me whenever you want, and I'll send you some artwork. With Mike, we've done that before. Like I would send Mike artwork, and he would send to everyone else.
Okay, will do.
So whenever you're ready, just give me a call.
Will
I
do.
would like to see a lot of responses to that.
Sure.
Any question, guys?
Carlos, have we got any? Have you got any information from clubs to promote that you can post on Facebook and Instagram? Or because I know that you were going to try and do something like that.
No, I haven't gotten any. I don't know. The things that I posted, like I got the Santiago, the kid that got signed by Duisburg, but it's just things that I find from clubs, but I'm not getting, I think we need to do something very specific to the coaches so they know that, listen, help us help you, spread your message. If I could get a list of, I'm willing to send emails to everybody that is responsible for the marketing of the clubs. So I can do that follow-up if you want. But I need to know what are the names. So I just need 50 names from the 52 clubs.
Okay. Thank you, Carlos.
Carlos,
all right, guys. Thank you.
One other thing, Carlos, can you create a graphic that can be sent to every player to like our Instagram?
Yeah. Yep. I can do whatever you guys want. I can design something real nice. I think, Sherry, when you call me this week to send the thing about the scholarships, we can take advantage and add artwork regarding follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. And then maybe you and I can do something so that we can send an email every week or every 10 days. I don't know. Just to remind them,
Sure. Okay, we'll talk.
Okay, I'll wait for your call. Anything else regarding the website? Any suggestions? I think we did a good job with the Godsport issue, so we made everything accessible.
I thought we got ahead of that. I mean, as well as we could. We got the information out fast and had to work around whatever it was. I mean, however good it was.
Yeah, but that was scary. That was very scary because we had to do.
Yeah.
Greg, Sherry, and I, we had to work overtime. It was a little bit stressful because we didn't have many choices. We had to come up with our own stuff until they came up with something.
But that's just an awful screw up.
Yeah, and it lasted a while.
I mean,
but other than that, Facebook is growing. So that's the important thing. I think if we get the kids involved, then we'll grow with Instagram.
Well, yeah, I think the biggest thing, Carlos, is we still need people to provide you with directed information, and we're not getting that. But that's, we got to wear them down. I think it's available for them to tell you what's going on, so you can post it. And they're not doing it to any great degree. They should be, but
the other thing that we can do, we can try email or even maybe calling. If I can get a list, I don't mind calling them and tell them, hey, listen, guys, I had a very good conversation with Coco last week. So that type of conversation is the one that we need with the other coaches, that they see us as a tool and that they actually want to take advantage of it, because that's what Coco did. One of the things we talked about was, let's promote our stuff. So I'll send you stuff. So all they have to send it is to the marketing at USA, my email, the marketing email, and I'll create artwork if they don't have artwork already. But they have to take advantage that we're getting likes. People are noticing what we're posting. So like right now, every time we post something, at least 1,000 people are seeing it. So it would be a shame, if they're not taking advantage of that.
Well, the website's set up. We've got all the groundwork. It took a while to kind of get our legs under us, and we're starting to move ahead. I assume, again.
Yeah, it would be a shame if they don't take advantage. Not only the website, but the traffic that we're getting. Because we're getting good traffic in social media. So
Carlos, I'm sorry. I know we just were talking with Jacob about the address being on the website, but I'm not seeing it. So we might have to add that for him.
Let me
Or
see, give me
maybe
one
I
second.
missed it, but I don't think it's on here.
What address you're
Like
talking
the
about?
USA Soccer mailing address, which is a PO box.
Okay, let me see. We have.
I looked
don't
under
remember.
organization and I don't see it. So I think that might just be something we never posted back.
No, we don't have the address. We have the phone. We have the 813-909-8821, and then the official email to contact the association. It's admin1, which I think it's yours.
So we probably do have to provide that to him, Greg.
All right, I'll send it to him in a text.
Okay.
So he's got it.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. And then we'll
Okay.
get it up.
All right.
Alan, I'm going to head over to Carlos's this week to get that banner straightened out for you. What I wanted to do was see what you guys thought about. It's going to be like a 4x8, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the USA logo front and center in the middle, and it'll say something like USA Championships. So it could be used, reused over. I don't want to put Championship Series, but just put USA Championships.
Right.
Okay. That'll be with our logo in the middle, and on either side, about a foot in, will be FYSA and USY and US Soccer. Their logos.
Right.
And Alan, do you have a storage area at the house?
Yeah, I can make one.
Okay, there you go.
And what we'll do is
I got some stuff. I got some stuff for you too.
Oh geez. We'll take a lot of photos there that day too. So there'll be a lot of traffic on that.
Yeah, that's a great
pick up some real heavy cable ties, not the little skinny ass cheap ones. Pick up the big ones because they'll have grommets on there where you can tie that to a tree or a fence or anything.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, they got a place there at Oldsmar that'll be perfect for a championship awards.
Okay.
Greg, I actually have you tomorrow at 1:30. At my office.
You got me tomorrow at 1:30?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then maybe we can do some filming also to promote people sending us info. So we'll probably film you in the green screen.
Does that mean I got to take a shower?
Yeah, take a shower and come well dressed.
Well, I thought you took one every week, whether you needed it or not, Greg.
That's true.
All right, guys. Any more questions from me?
No. All right. Well, would somebody make a motion to adjourn?
Wait, hold on a second. Wait before we go. I spoke to I texted with Jen about Regency. But Regency is going to do a AGM, and they have not set the date yet. They were thinking either the 3rd or the 10th.
Of what?
Of June.
Well,
June.
then we need to
What
send
I can
something.
What I can do is email her and say we're having an AGM for USA on the 3rd.
Right.
Yes, we couldn't combine them, could we, and make anything?
No way.
No,
absolutely not. That the Regency one's going to be a cluster as it is. Are you going to send something to DeTilio and tell them?
Yes, I can do that.
Tell them do not schedule on the 3rd. Because
I will copy you guys on it. Okay.
Thank you.
I will send that out since we get off of here.
Also, do you have Jen's address?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send it to Jen. Copy Jen too, because she wears the pants there.
She answers at Dave's too. I mean, you can get her.
Right. That's true. Good point.
She's easy to get to, and she's responsive. So, all right.
When is the next USA meeting?
Say it again.
When is the next USA meeting?
The 16th, April 16th.
In April.
April 16th.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
on the website. You can see it at the website
Yeah,
also.
yeah, we have it on the
Okay.
website, James.
Okay, all right.
Sometimes we change them because guys are not doing stuff. There's something happening. You know, the Super Bowl Sunday wasn't a good one for, so, we'll.
I'm gonna have some information for you guys for the next meeting.
Yeah,
So,
cool.
okay.
All right.
Okay. Coco, you're up. No?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here. What's up?
Make a motion.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
and-
before I make a motion, I just want to tell you that I had a game this afternoon against Winter Haven, Division 2 U16 boys. And yesterday I had a game. Well, I saw a game between FC Rangers and Plantation Sunshine League, and the difference was not very much. The Sunshine League teams were a little bit better, but the D2 for the USA was right on target.
Good job.
But I was.
That's good to know.
So yeah, the Sunshine League players from Plantation and I believe the Plantation Fullerville and Mike's team were very good, but the USA team this afternoon was just as good.
Well, that's what Les is. That's your one of your teams.
Yes, but it
Yeah.
wasn't less. It was another guy.
Oh, no,
Mike.
but I'm saying that's his club.
Yeah,
That's Mike.
that was a pretty
Good
good game.
job.
Pretty good game. All right, guys, I make a motion.
Coco, could you stay on 1 second? I got one question for you aside from USA here, if you could.
Okay, no
Just
problem.
1 minute. You want
Will
to,
do.
someone make a motion, Coco, make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make
All in
second.
favor? Second it?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Night.
Bye.
All right.
Have a good night, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
good
job.
night.
Good night.
With
Good night.
emails too, when we got something. Coco,
Yes.
you had asked me for the, for those payments. Now, here's what I got, which is interesting. I got two 10,000, 11,000, right? The third one, I know they made, and I know you had it. Was it in cash?
No, check. All in my check. They made 3 payments in check.
Yeah, yes. I think the third one was 3, but I believe it was 3, but I can't find it as a deposit, and so I'll look. And I remember it was just recently, so it's got to show up. I got to go into our bank account, and that'll show up as a deposit, a $3,000 deposit. The other two I can find easily, but I write every one of them up, and if it's a check, that's the only way I can deposit it. But I can't find it. It's 3,000. I'm almost dead sure I remember. And I thought, well, maybe it was cash.
Elda has copies of it, so I can reach out to her.
Yeah. But that was only a few weeks ago you gave me that, right?